Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name's KC. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the next Great One species in the Hunter Call of the Wild. What do I think it's going to be? What do I think it's probably going to be? And why? What do I think it's probably not going to be? And why? And what do I think it might be? And why? Let's jump straight into it. All right, first off, I want to talk about what species. There's a few species that I think it probably will be, and I'm going to go over those. I'm going to tell you guys kind of why I think that. There's also some species that I think it probably won't be, and I'm going to go over those, and we're going to talk about why I think that as well. And then we're going to talk about, there's a couple species that I think it maybe could be, and we'll go over that. And basically, I'm just going to kind of give my reasoning and just kind of talk about it a little bit, because I get this question a lot in the streams. A lot of people ask me what I think the next species will be, and I do have some opinions, and I wanted to go over that and kind of make some guesses as to what we're probably going to see for the next species of Great One in the Hunter Call of the Wild. So first of all, what do I think it probably won't be? Well, I kind of don't think that it's going to be a fallow deer. A lot of people think the next Great One could be fallow deer. I kind of hope that it would be, but the reason that I think that it won't be is because we've already got Great Ones on Tiaroa and on Hirschfelden, and fallow deer are only found in Tiaroa and Hirschfelden. So that's pretty much the number one reason. I think with the next Great One, they're gonna want to definitely have, you know, at least one more map with a possible Great One, and that completely cancels out the possibility of it being fallow deer. And that's pretty much the only reason for that. Another species that I think it probably won't be, and it's basically for the same reason, is the Roosevelt elk, because Leighton Lakes. We've already got a Great One on Leighton Lakes, and Roosevelt elk are only found on Leighton Lakes. So basically the exact same reason as the fallow deer. If it was a Roosevelt elk or if it was a fallow deer, we wouldn't have any new maps with a new Great One. So those are pretty much, I would say, out of the question until we maybe get fallow or rosy on another map in the game. I think they're pretty much out of the question, at least at this point. Another one that I think it probably won't be is Cape Buffalo. The reason for that, I think Virhonga needs a Great One, and I think that's something that they definitely will probably do in the near future. The reason I don't think it'll be Cape Buffalo is we don't have true horns yet. I think we're going to need to have true horns for Cape Buffalo first and enjoy that for a while. That's something that people have wanted for like a long time. So I think that's something they'll implement first, and then maybe down the line, you know, maybe a year after the true horn's been around and we've enjoyed that for a while, then maybe we'll get a Great One Cape Buffalo. But I would say Cape Buffalo, they're one of the, you know, there's quite a few people in the streams where I've seen people say, man, a Great One Cape Buffalo would be awesome. I don't think that's on the table right now. Another one that I don't think we'll see would be blacktail, and the same thing, the same reason why I don't think it would be blacktail is, again, Leighton, and also the racks need work. The diamond racks need work. I think blacktail are going to get a rework first with the diamonds and just with their racks in general before we ever see a Great One blacktail in the Hunter Call of the Wild. Moving on, now I want to move on to what I think it might be. I'm kind of on the fence. They could go in this direction. There's also there's reasons why they might do it, but there's also reasons why they might not. The first one, there's two of these, and the first one being mule deer. Now the reason why I think it could be mule deer is Silver Ridge Peaks needs a Great One, right? Probably the favorite map amongst the players. Silver Ridge Peaks, people love Silver Ridge Peaks, it needs a Great One. Mule deer would make that happen. The only reason that I think it might not be mule deer is that Parque Fernando and Rancho already have Great Ones, for one thing. So there's only one map there where, you know, you've got three maps for mule deer, two of them already have a Great One. But the other part of that is I feel like the mule deer are there's probably a rework in progress for them for their diamond racks. So I feel like, you know, it's got to be one thing at a time. I don't think they're going to pump out a mule deer right after doing a rework, or even, you know, at the same time as doing a rework. So if they're working on like a rework for those diamond racks, they're probably not working on a Great One for mule deer at the same time. So that's why I think it could be mule deer, because Silver Ridge Peak's Great One, but it also might not be, because I feel like they probably are going to get some kind of a rework for their diamond racks. The next species that I have in that category, where I've kind of got reasons why there might be a Great One of this species, but there might also not be, are black bear. Black bear would make for a really good Great One because they're in Silver Ridge Peaks. Again, Silver Ridge Peaks needs a Great One, and I think people would love to see a black bear Great One in Silver Ridge Peaks. Another thing to take into account is black bear just got a major graphical rework. They got a graphical rework. They have rares now. They kind of got completely redone in the game. So that kind of leads me to believe that it could be a possibility that they might do a black bear Great One, and that could be the first Silver Ridge Peaks Great One in the game. But probably not. And that segues nicely into the 3 species that I think probably will be the next Great One. And the first of those species, I think, are Rocky elk. Rocky Mountain elk are super popular in the game. They're on Silver Ridge Peaks. Now, you might say, well, what about pronghorn? What about mountain goats? Those would make for a Silver Ridge Peaks Great One. Pronghorn and mountain goats are only on Silver Ridge Peaks. Rocky Mountain elk are only on Silver Ridge Peaks. So why Rocky Mountain elk? Well, Rocky Mountain elk are really, really popular. People have been wanting an elk Great One for a while. I feel like it's the most popular choice in Silver Ridge Peaks, aside from mule deer. And we already kind of went over the reasoning for why I don't think it will be mule deer. I think Rocky Mountain elk are a very good candidate for the next Great One, and I would not be the least bit surprised if that did end up being the next Great One. The only thing that I hope is if they did do that, they extend their drink time or just tweak them a little bit, make it, I feel like the people want to grind drink zones. I think the number one thing, if they did that, and I think they would do it, is extend their drink times as well. So Rocky Mountain elk, definitely viable for the next Great One in the Hunter Call of the Wild. The next species that I'm thinking it's very possible and probable that they would be maybe the next Great One in the Hunter Call of the Wild is lions. Vurhonga Savanna needs a Great One. They're the king of the jungle. They would make for a really good Great One in the Hunter Call of the Wild. They would make for a really good Great One on Vurhonga. I can kind of imagine, I can picture what they would do with the, graphically and what they would make them look like. I think a lot of people would really enjoy that. A lot of people love the lions in the Hunter Call of the Wild. So I think that would make for a really viable option. The thing with the Vurhonga is the species on Vurhonga are limited to Vurhonga Savanna, right? So no matter what species they choose to do in Vurhonga, it's going to be Vurhonga only. And I just think the lion's at the top of that list. Kudu, I guess you could probably say that maybe kudu could be, a viable option. Probably safe to say that that could maybe be in this list too. Lesser kudu, they did just get true racks, but I think it's more likely that they would pick lion if they were going to do a Vurhonga species for the Great One. The last species I want to talk about, and this is the species that I think will be the next Great One in the Hunter Call of the Wild, is moose. The reason for that is Yukon Valley needs a Great One. If they do moose, we're getting a Great One on Yukon Valley and Medved Taiga, 2 maps that both need some more love. We're talking about 2 maps that are awesome in the Hunter Call of the Wild. They're under-recognized, they're kind of underrated, and doing a moose Great One would bring a lot of recognition and bring a lot of players into those maps, into Yukon and Medved. And, obviously we've got moose on Layton Lakes as well, so that would be an option as well. But that's really the main reason. Aside from the fact that moose are so popular, they're super popular in the Hunter Call of the Wild. People want a moose Great One, but it's kind of like a win-win situation because you're bringing people to Yukon, you're bringing people to Medved. So many people that play the game right now don't even have Medved. A lot of people don't have Yukon as well. So this is going to have people buying the Medved DLC, hunting in Medved. Medved would instantly be more popular, and same thing with Yukon. So I think it's kind of a no-brainer if they don't do moose. I would be a little bit surprised, but I would definitely expect that the next Great One would be moose, just really for that number one, just for that reason, really, that people, for one, love the species, and 2, yeah, you're bringing tons of players to Yukon and Medved, 2 maps where we don't currently have a Great One. But that's pretty much it, guys. I want to just go over this with you guys to give you my reasoning and my answer to the question of what I think will be the next Great One species. Do you agree with me? Let me know down below. If you got some other thoughts that you want to add to the conversation, comment below. I'll be reading all of those. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're on the road to 25,000 subscribers and we're getting close. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys in the next one.